Boom! Shakalaka suckers! You already know what it is. Your boy Nerd Gainz back at you with another Weeb Wednesday. Alright, so check it out. I had a friend once tell me that in order to become successful on YouTube, a good habit to adopt was to make your videos at least 10 minutes long, right? So, 30-minute long video, here we go. Look guys, I know it's long, but trust me, you're gonna wanna watch the whole thing. I got some cool stuff planned for y'all. We got a list about to come up, alright? I haven't done one of these list videos yet, but I wanted to dive into it a little bit just to kind of see how I felt about it. And I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed doing it. I enjoyed putting together a little list of stuff that was, you know, personal to me, and that, you know, was opinions that some of y'all might share. So, check it out, because we have
my top 5 favorite fighting anime of all time!
Now, again, this is just my personal list, personal to me, my personal opinion. Was it hard to make a list of only 5 of all the anime that I've watched over the years? Yes it was. But that's what life's about, hard choices. So, y'all ready? Let's get into it. So, first up in the number 5 spot, we have Kenichi, the Strongest Disciple. Now, this series is about a young boy named Kenichi Shirahama who's starting his first year in high school and gets picked on and bullied for basically being a loser. Little to zero physicality, middle-class family, not super gifted academically, and just uncool in general. He joins the school's local fight club to become a tough guy, but learns that that was a huge mistake. He befriends a new girl in school named Miyu Furinji. After seeing her beat up some would-be muggers one night while they were walking home, Kenichi asks her to train him, and instead, she points him in the direction of the dojo where the teachers who trained her live. Little did Kenichi know that upon entering such dojo, he would be met with 6 ridiculously strong warriors, each a master in their own respects. Not only that, but the head of the dojo and the strongest master there is none other than Miyu's grandfather. Needless to say, Kenichi's about to get the training of a lifetime. That is, if he survives the first day, of course. Alright guys, so Kenichi is awesome. If you haven't watched it, I highly recommend it. It is not only one of my favorite fighting anime of all time, but just one of my favorite anime of all time, period. It's one of those ones where, you know, the protagonist is like, you know, this wimpy, you know, just not cool, just like loser type kid. You know, he's always getting picked on, he's always lonely and no one ever hangs out with him. He's got like a childhood friend, but that's about, you know, the only kid who really likes him. So other than that, he's just kind of sad. It's kind of sad. So, but yeah, then he meets this chick, you know, Miyu. And yeah, so she takes him to like to this dojo where she got all these masters training her all the time. There's crazy kickboxer dude, there's a street fighter dude, there's like a ninja, there's this old pervy guy who's like, I don't even know how to describe him. He's like a spy. He's really sneaky, so he's always trying to sneak around the ninja and capture like candid pics of her bathing and crap. It's hilarious. And then there's like the martial arts guy, you know, who trains him in all different kinds of stuff, but mostly like how to control his body and like gain access to the different like types of muscles and muscle fibers in his body. It really like helps him unlock his potential and whatnot. It's really cool. And then the master guy just kind of oversees all of this, and he gives tips every now and then, but it's not like super, you know, one-to-one kind of thing. Like yeah, so he takes a little bit from each of these masters, and he works really hard. He goes through crazy amounts of training. If you like one of those anime that goes into like different types of physical training that the main, you know, protagonist to go into and like explains it and breaks it down and tell you why we're doing this and what this is doing and how this works, check it out. It does all of that all the time. It's hilarious. The action is really good. It's actually got some really good fight scenes. Like, the animation looks kind of dated at this point, but honestly, it's still really good. Like, once you get into it, you'll understand. Just check it out. It's awesome.
Next.
Alright, so next up in line in spot number 4 is a popular anime by the name of Kengan Ashura. The main man of this story is none other than the seriously OP Tokita Oma. After being trained at a young age, Oma turns into an unbeatable fighting machine, but is ruled at least in some part to one day get revenge on the man who killed his master. Oma is one day spotted by a mid-level businessman named Yamashita Kazuo fighting with a random thug in an alleyway and is impressed but also absolutely terrified of this mad lad of a fighter, so he runs away. The next day at work, Kazuo was told by his boss of the underground fighting games known as the Tengan, where high-level businessmen settle disputes and business dealings by hiring fighters and having them participate in hand-to-hand combat gladiatorial games. Kazuo is then told by his boss, much to his dismay, that he will be the handler of their company's fighter, who just so happens to be none other than the mad lad himself, Tokita Oma. Kengan Ashura. Guys, Kengan Ashura is amazeballs. It's on Netflix right now, both seasons. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's awesome. So if you're somebody that really likes like just pure fighting anime, that's like there's not a whole lot of plot, there's not a whole lot of character development, there's not a whole lot of like character descriptions and all this other stuff. If you really just like fighting, just down and dirty, like just watch this. That's pretty much what it's all about. The main character just goes around and just beats the crap out of everybody. Yes, there's some character development. Yes, there's some backstory, but it all kind of plays second fiddle to everything that's going on right now. So the dude, Tokita Oma, he is a phenomenal fighter. Just destroys people. Like seriously OP. I would a lot of people try and like stack him up against Bakke from Bakke the Grappler, but we'll get to that another video. There's a lot to say about that. But anyway, so he goes to work for this company, and the boss of that company like hires him because in this day and age there are multi-million and billion-dollar companies, all the big ones or whatever, and the way they settle like business disputes and differences and dealings and whatnot is by hiring like top-level fighters and having them fight in underground like fighting pits, basically in tournaments or whatever. They take them to like a deserted island and there's this big-ass arena and blah, one-on-one, just go crazy. So the businessman that Tokita, who is like his handler or whatever, like Tokita's handler, is like he's this little timid, middle-aged guy who's just, trying to live his life. He's got issues at home with his son and he's divorced and all this mess and whatnot. But it's kind of cool because he becomes like this secondary father figure to Tokita Oma a little bit. You do get to see a little bit of the character development there, with like just as it pertains to their relationship and how things work out in between the two of them. It's really cool. And the guy, Yamashita Kazuo, I think is his name, he's been in this rut for a really long time, and through this like new adventure that's just kind of thrown in front of him, it kind of takes him out of this place in his life where he was just going nowhere, and through his relationship with Tokita Oma, it kind of teaches him that he needs to toughen up, and two, like fight for what he really wants in life and be a little bit more assertive. He can take steps to take control of his life and get a much better handle on it through just kind of grabbing the bull by the horns kind of thing. So it's really good. Dude, this anime is crazy. The animation style, a lot of people don't really like it, but I think it's really cool. I think when the fighters are fighting, it's a little bit more noticeable when like regular people are just talking and people are just moving around. It seems kind of clunky or whatever. But when people are fighting, I think it actually looks pretty fluid. To me, it really helps the hits really hit home. Like they just feel like they hit harder with this type of animation. I don't know. You'll have to watch it and tell me what you think and check it out, whatever. Tell me what you think in the comments. We can debate it, whatever. Anyway, check it out. It is awesome.
Next.
Alright, next up in the number 3 spot, we have Hajime no Ippo, which focuses on also a young high schooler and fellow loner, Makunochi Ippo. Notice a trend emerging here? Yeah, I mean, the zero to hero thing in anime is kinda done to death, but, you know, people just can't seem to get enough of it. I mean, maybe it connects us to a bit of our past when, you know, those of us who are successful now weren't always, and those that are not now could one day still accomplish our dreams, even if that dream is to become, you know, Hokage, Pirate King, Wizard King, whatever. Anyway, back to the goods. Makunochi Ippo is constantly bullied because of his loner status until one day a professional boxer named Momuro Takamura interrupts a bully beatdown on Makunochi and takes him to a boxing gym where he's inspired to become a professional boxer after being told he has crazy potential by Takamura and the owner of the gym, Genji Kamogawa, and eventually shoots for the world title. Alright, Hajime no Ippo. If you know about it, you know. The show is awesome, especially if you're a fan of boxing. It's one of those anime that honestly doesn't stray too far from reality. Obviously, yes, it's a cartoon and things are gonna be, you know, hyped up to 10, 12 billion and beyond, you know, whatnot, and super crazy. But honestly, like a lot of the mechanics that they go over and a lot of the techniques that they break down and use in the show, they break down the muscle groups that you use when you box, they break down the techniques and how to throw a punch, where your power comes from, what you want to do if you're right-handed or left-handed, as opposed to, you know, whatever. There's a lot of stuff that's actually feasible in reality in that show. It's just one of those shows. I'm gonna do another video on that sometime down the road soon. But just like, you know, stuff from anime that can actually be used in real life. But it's amazeballs and everybody needs to watch it. And Hajime no Ippo is like, it's one of those shows where it's like, it's definitely a fighting show, and that's, you know, the main thing of the show, but it also focuses a lot on character development. It also helps that it's been in production for like years and years. It's kind of an older show, but it's awesome. But yeah, there's a lot of character development that goes into this. Makunochi goes through a ton of different things. You know, again, he's one of those that starts out from nothing and then, you know, is eventually the world champion. Takes a long time, but nobody reaches Mount Olympus in a day. You know what I'm talking about? So, but yeah, it's just really cool to see him go through all the trials and stuff that he has to go through, all the different people that he has to fight. And dude, the animations of the fights are legendary. Like, just some of the things they do when they break it down in slow motion and they show you exactly what's going on within that fight. And they do this thing where, like, when there's a real hard hit coming, they do that thing in anime where everything slows down and you go into the character's head and he's thinking all this thing and there's a big monologue going on, the enemy's thinking all this thing, there's a big monologue going on, and then it just goes from there and it just smashes. It's ridiculous. Like, seriously, check it out. It's amazeballs. Hajime no Ippo, probably the best, I'm just gonna say it, the best boxing show of all time. Yeah, I'm comfortable with that. Maybe not the best fighting show or the best anime, but definitely the best boxing show of all time, hands down. Get at me.
Next. Oh, people get ready, because we are now at the number 2 spot, and a lot of people are about to be very upset at me. But I don't really care. Why? Because it's my channel and I do what I want. My opinion is my own and your opinion is yours, okay? Okay, let's get to it. Here we go. It's Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball's number 2. Ooh, that hurts you right in the childhood. I know. But trust me, when you see my number 1, some of you might see why, some of you might not. I don't know. Leave me alone. It's my list. I do what I want. But Dragon Ball is number 2, the original, nothing but fighting anime that inspired millions around the world,
myself included, to get fit so we could at least look like we could whoop some ass like some of these guys. Yeah. Now, when I say Dragon Ball, I'm actually referring to all iterations, but as a side note, DBZ is the main one I grew up with, being a 90s kid, and molded me in different ways, so whenever you hear me say Dragon Ball, just know that's what I mean. I mean all iterations as a whole. Z, GT, Super, whatever. Now, everyone already knows this story, and if you don't, well, I don't know what to tell you, my friend, because you have been living under a rock literally your entire life. But for those very few individuals, Dragon Ball is the story of a humanoid alien named Goku, which is the name given to him by his father figure and the man who adopted him on Earth, Gohan, who came to Earth as a baby and is part of a warrior race known as Saiyans. Super long story short, Saiyans live for battle and Goku is no different. Through constant training of his body and fighting skills and also relationships with his friends he makes along the way, Goku becomes pretty much the strongest fighter in the world, and eventually reaching far beyond that to the galaxy and even way farther down the road, the universe, and even further than that, the multiverse. It's crazy. Let's talk about it. Ooh, they mad. Ooh, they mad. Look. Okay, let's talk about it. Look, is Dragon Ball Z one of the best animes of all time? Yes. Is it one of the best fighting animes of all time? Yes. Has it inspired millions around the world over the past 30-something years to get in shape and live a healthier lifestyle? Yes. Do I still use it on a daily basis to help amp myself up for a workout? Do I go on YouTube and watch the different AMVs and whatnot, and Goku speeches here and there, whatnot, get pumped up? Yes. Yes to all. But to me, is it my favorite fighting anime of all time? Hands down. When I really sit down and think about it. By a very small, look, it's hard to explain, okay? It's a very small margin, and it's for different reasons, all right? When I get to the number one, you'll see why. They're just very different series, just on a completely different scale. It's apples and oranges kind of thing. But DBZ is, of course, amazing. Everyone already knows this. It's Goku. Goku is literally like the national mascot for Japan, something like that. I don't know. Don't quote me. I don't know. It's something like that. I synced it on the internet. But Dragon Ball Z is amazing. We all know this. Goku, Vegeta, everybody inspired us. Especially, like I said, like me, the 90s kids. All our lives, we tried to, emulate them in different things throughout the years. Like I said, a lot of us started lifting and started getting into weights because of them. We saw the training montages in the gravity chamber. We saw the hyperbolic time chamber training stuff. We saw everything. So a lot of us got into martial arts. We started lifting, started doing calisthenics, all that stuff because of Dragon Ball Z. Goku and Vegeta are two of the most iconic characters of all time. We all know that, and for good reason. Like on Vegeta's part, he was constantly, kept getting defeated by Goku, and actually he got beat up by a lot of people too. Okay, they both got beat up by a lot of people, but Vegeta even more so, and we all know that. Vegeta got his ass handed to him lots of times. Ugh, can we say pride goes before the fall? Whew, Lord. Oh, and then of course, there's the rivalry factor between Goku and Vegeta. There's a lot of y'all out there. There's a lot of us that have that partner, right, in crime. That partner in crime, or that rival, that swole mate we call him. Yeah, I got one. It's one of my good friends, and me and him, we vibe real well on a lot of different things. We're very similar in a lot of different ways, but especially in our love for fitness. In all facets. I'll put a link to his Instagram in the description down below so you can go check him out. He's a beast. Got a lot of good tips. check him out. He's awesome. So with Goku, it was always that never give up mentality that a lot of us, you know, took away from that. You know, he would be getting beat up and beaten and beaten and beaten, and he would just never give up. And a lot of times he basically just tired out his opponent. Basically, I mean, you know, he would always pull it out some kind of crazy way in the end. Yes, you can always attribute it to, you know, different transformations and whatnot. And on that note, we all know that Goku going Super Saiyan for the first time against Frieza was the best anime transformation of all time. You cannot tell me different. I don't want to hear it. Or maybe I do. If you feel a different way, put it in the comments, because I want to hear it, actually.
Next.
Who's number one? Who could it be? Who is this mad lad? His name is Bucky.
And last but not least, and probably to a lot of y'all's immense surprise, my number one favorite fighting anime of all time is Bakke the Grappler. I know a lot of y'all are like, what? But look, there are reasons for my decision, I promise you. First, let's talk about Bakke. Okay, so Bakke the Grappler unsurprisingly follows a young boy named Bakke Hanma, whose entire life he's had to live in the shadow of his father, Yujiro Hanma, who many regard as pretty much the strongest creature on Earth. He is even known by most from his nickname, the Ogre. This man eats, sleeps, breathes, and lives for fighting, and even only married Bakke's mother, who is not winning any Mother of the Year awards herself, and fathered Bakke only so that he could become a better fighter and also have someone to pass his fighting spirit on to. Bakke is trained every moment of every day in his childhood so that he can become like his father. The interesting thing about Bakke, though, is that he does indeed have his father's fighting spirit and love for battle. It just doesn't go as far as wanting to be the best fighter in the world necessarily. While Yujiro is cold and ruthless, Bakke is kind and often makes close friends out of the, you know, people he meets along his journey, even sometimes if they were enemies to begin with. There's a part in the story where Bakke tells his father that he's never wanted to be the strongest, he just wants to be strong enough to defeat his father. Y'all have to check it out and see, alright? Be sure to catch up on the latest season of Bakke on Netflix, although before you do that, you should really watch the first 2 seasons of the show on whatever platform or website you can find, since unfortunately it doesn't look like they're on Netflix, Crunchyroll, or Hulu. Not sure about VRV. Bakke, my friend, you have made it! Boom! Okay, so if you've never heard of Bakke the Grappler, that is okay. You probably will soon if you haven't, because it's on Netflix. Netflix picked up the show. It's a continuation though of the original series, which I want to say came out in like the early 90s. Bakke the Grappler is amazeballs. Look, if you like fighting and you like seeing just big muscled up brawly dudes just beating the ever-loving crap out of each other, you should check it out. It's a lot deeper than that, but it's really just about that. The fighting is really, really good in this show though. Like, all the fight scenes are amazing. It's dated. The animation is dated, but the storyline is really, really good though, actually. It's, you know, Bakke, like, the whole thing of like Bakke just not even wanting to be the strongest in the world, to be the strongest in the world like his father. It's just his father put him through so much as a child, and eventually does this one like unforgivable thing that really makes him hate him. And so he's just like, I don't need to be the strongest in the world. I just need to be stronger than you. I don't care if you were stronger than, you know, 10 people down the street and that was it. As long as I'm stronger than you, I'm happy. So that's what he trains for. It's just that Yujiro Hanma happens to be the strongest creature in the world. So, ipso facto, boom! Bakke's a badass and beating up everybody in sight. But, like I said, unlike his father, Bakke is a nice, gentle guy. He does still really love fighting. He does. But it's not as if he just wants to go around hurting people all the time. He has a natural talent, a natural skill, and he wants to use it. That's okay in my book. I told you, I go on YouTube all the time and like watch the AMVs before I go work out. I can recommend a couple of them to you if you like. Just let me know. I got plenty in my library. Plenty. You need some good AMVs? I got you. need some pre-workout motivation? I got you. At this point, I probably do have more Bakke related, like, you know, AMVs or whatever than I do DBZ ones. It's not that Goku and Vegeta don't get me hyped no more, of course they do. But Bakke though, I'm telling you, you'd have to watch it to understand, like, the stuff that this boy goes through, and at such a young age. When the show starts, the dude is like 13 years old, and he's just going around. First of all, he's just brawling with it, and he's just going around just messing people up. Just messing people up. And at that point, he's pretty much been training his entire 13 years of living. Sucker came out the womb probably kicking and fighting and junk, and Yujiro probably slapped him around a couple times because Yujiro is a crazy man and a monster and all that good stuff. The show is long, and there is a point where it does a little bit of a time skip, but it's only like 2 years. So he looks, at that point, looks like a grown man, but he is like 15 years old. It's ridiculous, and he's just bodying people. But yeah, he does ridiculous kinds of training. I mean, he goes out to the mountains and just lives like a wild man, and like battles this giant ape gorilla. Kind of looks like Bigfoot, but like the nightmare version, called the Yasha Crag ape. It's this ape that lives on the mountain, and he's gigantor huge. I mean, just huge. And Bakke just goes up there and was like, you know what? And then the thing is like, Yujiro did the same thing. So he's like, a lot of the stuff, like, he's going around asking some friends of his, like, what did my father do to train? You know, what do I have to do to be like him? And one of them told him, they was like, you gotta go up on the mountain and you gotta go see this Yasha Crag ape. So he went up on the mountain, he saw the Yasha Crag ape, and it did not go well. Just watch, you'll understand. But yeah, he does stuff like that. He does everything. Just running and climbing, and I mean, it's calisthenics, it's weightlifting, it's everything. Any like type of physical training that you can think of, the boy pretty much does it. Like, training and fighting is pretty much his entire world right now. He just wants to get better. And he does eventually meet a girl, and that does change things for him. I'm not gonna tell you how, but it does. But I mean, it happens to a lot of us, right? You can probably guess. Anyway, but check it out. It's amazing. It is my personal favorite fighting anime of all time. I love it. Get nothing probably ever top it. Kengan Ashura is really good. It's really good. It's not Bakke good. I still recommend it. It's still in my top 5. It's not Bakke good though. I don't think it has the background and the feeling that Bakke does. It's like, it doesn't have the heart that Bakke does. It's like a shell of Bakke the Grappler, honestly. And that's saying a lot, seeing as how it's still on my list. But yeah, Bakke though. It's on Netflix. Go check it out. You will love it, I promise. That is the list. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Leave your comments, likes, all that good stuff below. And I will see you next Wednesday for the workout, suckers. Peace!